明天很特别，就是非常幸运，我可以跟导演跟所有的演员都访问一遍。我觉得这个男主角还有这个女主角之后一定会红，尤其是男主角，他真的超帅，他本人比他在电影里面还要帅。
Never been cooler in my life, and I'll never be that cool again.
他在钓鱼耶，他钓到了吗？好像没有钓到。我们现在在 The Grove。它是一个 shopping center， 一个逛街的地方，有点像101后面星光三月那条街一样，就很多卖东西的地方。那你看这附近有好多寻龙高手的旗子，然后这边这个大的，好久没有去美国的戏院，美国电影院跟台湾不太一样，来看一下。天哪，这跟我想象中的完全不一样，这超大，很酷哎，有没有？很有那种美国戏院的感觉。看那边应该是接下来我要去的地方，我要去找他，他会给我票。Thank you。哦，好，让你们看美国爆米花有多可怕。你们猜这是什么？这个是奶油。美国爆米花最可怕的地方是，准备好了吗？你可以直接淋奶油在你的爆米花上面。这种身材不是随便都有的。
2 hours later，
我们刚看完《寻龙高手》的真人版电影，超级好看。明天很特别，就是非常幸运，我可以跟导演跟所有的演员都访问一遍。明天祝我好运，祝我好运，再见。我们现在来到《寻龙高手》的会场，然后我们准备要去访问导演了。可是，在那之前呢，他们已经有布置了整个会场给我们玩。我们来看一下里面有什么。还有很多 cosplay 的人，然后他们会直接跟我们说，哦 ，Welcome to Berg。然后这边我们可以做我们自己的手环，还有后面有乐队，有北欧的感觉。北海，北海。真的想吃。对啊，有早餐呢。
维京人早餐要吃生鱼跟生的红萝卜，
全部都是满满苍蝇的 cheese。他们不是都吃海鲜吗？我完全没有办法当维京人，我不吃羊肉，不吃海鲜。很努力的想要找几块没有被碰过的，可是应该全部都被碰过了。我说苍蝇，
工作人员都不敢吃。
真的假的啦？现在可以偷拍一下，因为那边有明星在那边，很快的看一下。偷偷的看一下，因为可能会被阻止。
我们这样不是算直接拍到？
对，我们是直接偷拍他们哈。哦，我们现在有机会，可能可以来跟明星拍个照。Julian, Gabriel, can I take a selfie with you guys? Oh. 刚刚很幸运的，我们跟明星拍照了。对，我跟明星拍照，而且他竟然记得我的名字。我们那边有一个活动呢，就是像算塔罗牌一样的，可是它是用北欧的符文，用符文来算塔罗牌。他有说我第一年需要经历一些改变，然后第2年会赚很多钱，第3年可能又会经历一些改变。如果我喜欢我现在人生的话，就接受改变，然后对旁边的人都要很好。对，就是这样。然后另外一边这边呢，有一个丢斧头的游戏，然后我才发现我超不会丢斧头的，我不管怎么丢都坏。然后我后来还把他们上面的那个牌子给砸烂了，所以我后来就不太敢玩了，很不好意思，直接把那个电影的名字切成一半。对，我不知道这是吉利还是不吉利，说不定是非常吉利的一件事情，因为就代表它的票房会好到整个爆掉的意思。对，有可能是这样，我觉得应该是这样。
I've never seen anyone mess up that badly. That helped.
Thank you. Thank you. I was trying.
So good. Yeah, she's gonna be a Viking.
哇，酷哦！太酷了！
Yeah.
太酷了！
Doesn't really fit, but sure. 下一个摊位就是在加州这边的那个现实生活有一些 coser， 他们有的时候会做一些 中古世纪的角色扮演的游戏，然后他们来这边参与这次的活动，因为非常适合。所以他们有自己的盾牌，有自己的剑，有自己的斧头，他们是来这边支持的。然后他们背后呢，那些盾牌其实是电影道具，只是他给我玩的盾牌是他们自己的。OK。里面有很多的食物啊，然后有一些这一次寻龙高手的玩具。还有一个地方是我目前为止，因为我刚刚要访问明星，所以我还没有去看的地方就是酒，它里面有很多的酒。他是说，其他的酒都是用葡萄做的，这个是用蜂蜜做的酒，所以这是蜂蜜酿的酒。我现在工作完毕了，我这一次行程目标都达成，所有的明星都访问完，也跟世界各地的记者们交朋友，有澳洲、墨西哥、瓜地马拉，全部都交了朋友。对，所以我觉得我这一次行程是完美，我都跟大家推台湾超棒，一定要来玩。派我们出来好事就是我会开始来推广台湾，耶！好了，我要去喝酒了。I'm finally done with my work. Now I can drink.
So it's honey wine.
Yep.
It's just honey, water, and yeast.
Okay. I can do
And
that.
This one's plain, just honey, water, and yeast. The other ones have some flavorings to them.
Okay.
You can try all four.
Sure. I'll try all four.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Skull.
let me drink.
Oh, it's really nice. I saw the film last night.
Oh yeah.
You guys were awesome.
Oh,
Thanks so much.
So how was it to be in the film?
It's such an honor. I mean, the original movies are everything to me. They were my childhood. I was Hiccup for Halloween. You know, her dad read the books to her as a kid. And Nico and I are such fans. Getting to step into this world and bring it to, you know, a new generation and bring it to life is truly an honor. I'm excited for people to see it.
So for Nico, I was just in that other room, and then they were telling like you guys did, or you did a lot of stunts. So can you share that with me?
Yeah, the stunts were amazing. I mean, we had a really brilliant stunt department, so full credit to all of them. To Roy Taylor, who was the head stunt coordinator, who just like killed it constantly. I think all of the stunt sequences, not just of my own, but kind of everyone, it's much more of an action movie than I think we all had anticipated stepping into it, and he just made everything, every movement, every beat really count, and it was really special. And I had a brilliant stunt double, Yasmin Tate, who just is like, she is Astrid to her bone. She's like the quintessential school captain. She's amazing. You get all of those stunt sequences together, and I think the thing that was the most difficult about them is having them look kind of effortless in a way, because Astrid's very capable. It was one thing to be able to do them, but to be able to do them in a way that looked actually really cool and with kind of flourishes that made them seem more striking and visually exciting for the camera, that was the stuff that actually made it more difficult.
So next time you're gonna be like, okay, I'm an action star, I can do this.
Maybe, but the idea that we're even going to do a second one, I was scared to rewatch the second one in anticipation, because I know that there's a lot of stunty sequences that I'm like, I don't even know if I can do that again. I'm getting
I went
old.
from just falling in the first one, and the second one's gonna be a bigger step.
I know, but that's fine. You'll be fine.
You have something none of us have.
So for Mason, how was the falling thing like?
Like really a lot of falling. We had about a month of, you know,
falling.
Yeah, man, a month of falling in pre-production. But for me, that was a lot of fun because I love stunt type stuff and getting to do that and learning how to fall properly. And I already kind of had it down by like the first week, so kind of we would just mess around.
We would be in the stunt room, and you know, I would be like working my arse off in one side of it to, you know, do like a whole like sequence of fighting one of the dragons, and then I would just see like Mason's head pop over the like walls that they had created, and I would look over and I'd be like, what's he doing? Because he's just bouncing. I was like, what? And then I had to go around and he's just on a trampoline. And we were like, what bit is this for? When in the movie do you do this ever? And he was
By the way,
like,
the behind the scenes thing, I was so upset because there was one video they had of me where I didn't mean to, but I jumped on the trampoline, did a front flip, and then rolled, and then I showed off for the cameras and they didn't use it. I was so sad because I accidentally looked so cool. So proud of that moment. I've never been cooler in my life, and I'll never be that cool again.
So for Toothless, I know they did puppeteering. Did you have to act like for CGI like without him there?
Yeah, I mean, what we had most of the time was this foam puppet head, and we had an amazing puppeteering team who made it so much easier because when my co-star is a drag and it's not actually there, it can be very difficult. So they made it very easy. You know, I had something to touch and look at and act with, and you know, me and Tom Wilton, the main guy behind Toothless, we would improv and do cool things, and it was a lot of fun to, you know, build that chemistry with Toothless, and it's pretty cool.
For having, you know, done the animation, you're coming back to live action. How did it feel when you first found out that you were gonna be in this movie?
I don't think it's just one thing, it's many things. It was, I got this, oh no, I don't got this. What am I gonna do? Oh, I'm actually gonna go and be this guy now. I don't ever wanna walk into a movie feeling too comfortable, because that's what brings your game up. So for sure when I turned up, I felt a big responsibility to bring it with Stoic and therefore to the movie.
Different from animation, what do you think is most challenging to bring to life?
There's nothing to hide behind anymore. When I was doing the voice, sometimes I would think, oh, I want to do more, but at least, you know, I wasn't fully responsible for portraying this epic, towering, commanding, mythical force. And then when you're doing the movie, that's it. It's you. There's nobody else there, and which strikes the fear of God into you and makes it all the more exciting, because I had always also relished the chance to climb into more, you know, just a more complex Stoic, more both in the upper echelons of who he is, you know, the bigger, the bravado, the performance, but especially in the smaller, more human, real aspects of who this guy was as a father, as a human being, especially working with the brilliant Mason them. The father-son stuff is heartbreaking. Also, I think really uplifting and inspiring as well.
Because Stoic is a big guy. I mean,
yeah.
Did you have to train, or did you have to eat a lot?
Well, when I did the first costume fitting, I was 4 hours in that costume, and at that point, it weighed over 100 pounds. They had to bring it down, but we only got it down to 90 pounds. And I had a fear that the whole movie was going to fall apart just because I couldn't wear the costume for 12 hours a day. So I started wearing weight vests, and I started wearing the costume when they would let me, so I could get used to the weight, but also so I could get used to what it feels like to have that beard, to have that wig, to have that helmet. How do you sit in front of somebody? How do you stand? How do you move? So that it's my everyday experience being that size of human being. I had to do the stunt training first of all, just me and my regular, you know, my track pants. And then I had to do it all over again, but with the costume on. I was on top of towers fighting, and I'm running up and down stairs. And so it was tricky.
I'm serious.
Yeah, so am I.
How to Train Your Dragons is it's for all ages. Is there any one moment or one scene that you think resonates really well, or you hope to resonate with audiences?
I don't know if I've ever made a movie where I feel there are so many moments that resonate, whether from my performance or especially from hiccups and, you know, his relationship with Toothless. But I think towards the end, when Stoic is kind of cracked open, you know, comes round to seeing the brilliance in his son, but it's very hard for him to say, because I'm not only saying I love you and I'm sorry, but it's like saying everything I've done's kind of been wrong, and that's very powerful. And in the movie, this one over here, my publicist went into hysterics. I heard somebody screaming. I thought somebody had an accident. Ah! And I was like, oh my God. People are responding in a very powerful way to so many parts of this movie.
I can't kill dragons.
But you will.
Which one's harder? Animation or live action? What's more
challenging? Wow. You know, they're equally hard, but the disciplines are different. In animation, you have so much time to think about things, almost too much time, because you can find yourself changing ideas that work. In live action, you prepare and you prepare and you prepare, you go in with a plan, and then you have to capture it like crazy. You have to move at such a pace, so there's no time for hesitation. You have to be very decisive, be willing to live with those decisions when you get to the editing room months from now, because next week that set won't even be there. But the wonderful thing that I learned as a director, you give the scene over to the actors and you let them sort of play with it and develop their own pacing so that the truth comes out and you get that on camera. Whereas in animation, we manipulate and control everything. You know, even the recordings of the actors we can cut up and make our own best version of it. So there's a spontaneity and a life and an alchemy that comes out of watching actors who are really committed sort of shape a scene together.
So on their way to the nest, right? In animation, I think there was a little Easter egg where Gloria the hippo, Madagascar was in there, right?
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was watching it. I kept on paying attention. think I saw a little hippo.
No, I don't think there is a hippo in there. Frame Store had some extra animals from past movies, and I think we collected a few. So there were Arctic foxes and polar bears. I think there's a manatee. Maybe you saw a manatee.
Is there any Easter eggs that you kind of splash or share, like where to look at?
Yeah, I mean, so one kind of fun, silly one is I'm in there. I'm a Viking. There's a moment in the beginning of the movie when Stoic is berating Hiccup in front of everyone, and Hiccup tries to make a joke like, well, maybe this village could do with a little less feeding. And there's kind of a fat Viking in the background that kind of, that's me. I think one of my favorite little Easter eggs, when the armory department made the sword for Stoic, this beautiful sword that we eventually gifted him at the end of the movie, they inscribed in Viking runes on the hilt of the sword the name Valka, which is the name of his wife, played by Cate Blanchett in the second movie. And so the idea is that when this sword was made for him, it was after she had been taken. And every time he swings this sword, it's in retribution for the wife.
What's next, like after this? I mean, this is the second time that you're doing this. Are you gonna make any changes? Are you gonna go for like the fourth one?
I mean, my fingers are still on the keyboard. I don't know. In a way, I'm kind of waiting to see what the response is to this movie. And if audiences really like, then maybe that gives me a path to go down. I'm aware that the second film, for most fans, is the favorite film. I don't want to just simply change for change's sake, but I do think there are things I could do better. I hope to get back to Taiwan one day.
Oh, yeah?
We went there during Lilo and Stitch to Taipei. It was fun. It was a really cool experience.
I'm a Viking. I'm a Viking.
So how was riding the dragons?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Yeah. Ridiculous amounts of fun. Like scary as well, because you're like 12 feet in the air on these big animatronic dragons.
Yeah.
And luckily me and Harry were on the same dragon, so we got to do ours together.
Yeah. Which was so funny, but it was so bad because it felt like it was such a wild experience, like slowly being raised on these dragons. And it kind of like, as much as it can, being on like a rig in a studio, it felt as close as you could to ride. Like they had the dragon heads there.
Dragon heads there, the wind.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the on-set things were like they made it real. Like the arena was real. What else was real? Like
the stuff that you see in the film, that was kind of the same experience for us. Like it was like when we wandered, when we were in Burke, when we were in the arena, when we were in the Great Hall, a full like immersive experience, like going there. It was so massive and giant, and the level of detail in each and every tiny bit of it. I thought it was going to be so much more green screen, but so much of it, even the dragons that we were working with, you had this incredible puppetry department, meant that you were so immersed in it, and you had these amazing like dragons doing the breathing, doing the movements, and each dragon was based off a different animal, and the way that they would move would be so informed by that.
In the Great Hall scene, they had these bowls full of like fish heads and octopus tentacles, and like sat there for a few days for continuity. So the stench was very real. I love fish, I love sushi, and I don't know if I can touch it anymore because the smell is stayed with me.
Yeah, Viking sushi, not
Viking
so great.
sushi.
So I understand you guys had to do your own stunts. So can you share it?
There's a video that I've got, which is we had the amazing like they got flung in the air.
When they get blasted by the Grunkle, they sent them flying, and in the rehearsal they kind of flew off and then landed on a crash mat. When time to do the real take, she went flying up and then just completely missed the crash mat. And if you slow it down, she like lands on her hands, and luckily she's like
a
professional.
Yeah.
So she stood up and was just like, cool, yeah, oh no, we can go again. And they're like,
they were so they were amazing.
I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill a dragon.
First to ride one, though.
I understand that you had your left knee, you were operated on.
I was meant to have it done a week before I got the job. And then I got the job and I had to say to Dean, my left knee is kind of ruined. Can't really do these certain things. And he was like, don't have the operation. Let's use that and we'll make Gobber's left leg the one that's now missing. So the next film will be a challenge. That's when you really see me acting, when I have to pretend that my left leg hurts.
So how did that work? Like, did you have to wear prosthetics?
You have those conversations before the film starts and they're like, well, we're going to do this and we'll have this and that. And it's like, okay, all right. I mean, if that's the best way to do it, let's do it that way. But eventually they kind of just came. They had like a knee-length green sock and they said, we're just going to put this over your shoe. It's like, great.
Oh.
So easy. It's great. Yeah, I had like a green thing on, a green sleeve on my arm. So they built like 5 different hammers and there was a drinking mug and a chisel, a big axe and a big stone and So every day they'd say, "What'd you fancy?" I'd get to choose what arm gob I had for the day.
There were some funny moments with Gobber. Did you get to improvise any of that?
We would kind of honour the script and what was written. And Dean was very keen that, you know, there were that kind of scene when him and me and Hiccup are in the forge, and we kind of, we bumped tummies. Like, we shot that a lot because it made us laugh. And then each time there was something different that we did, and Mason found something on set which was funny. We're like, well, let's try it, let's do it, you know. Or we'd walk around the set before the shoot day and we'd found like an item that was funny. We were like, let's try and get this in. Or it was very, you know, Dean from the start, do what you want to do, you know.
Was there a particular challenging part for you to act?
I mean, the most challenging aspect of the shoot was my moustache and the fact I completely hated it, and it stank every day. You had to come in and just lay there while people sticks of glue on your face. It was horrible. There was a talk, like the second film, perhaps the first thing you see about Gobber is he sets his moustache on fire or has a dragon burn it off, and then he doesn't have to have it for the whole film. But I think Dean said no.
All right, I think that's all the time.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Lovely
man.
to meet you. Thank you.
好，活动终于结束了，哈哈，我要收工了。那收工之前呢，回顾一下这次发生什么事情。那我们收到通知之后，飞了过来，第一件事情就是去试片。然后我们看了《驯龙高手》真人版，而且是提前2个礼拜先看，超好看，真的超喜欢。隔天呢，我们就访问了各大明星还有导演，导演人真的超好的。我跟你们讲，没有在说笑，我觉得这个男主角还有这个女主角之后一定会红，尤其是男主角，他真的超帅，他本人比他在电影里面还要帅，360度无死角的男人。因为我一开始在外面等嘛，然后他就直接从旁边这样走过去，他旁边跟着像化妆师啊，然后他的经纪人啊，可能他的家人啊那些，就一大群人就这样子，然后你就会从人群里面就看到这个帅哥，然后就哦天哪，这是帅哥哎。女主角呢，那口超明显的，因为她超冷。所以你就会看到，就是人群里面就有一个就包得超紧的，然后一直在发抖的女的这样走过来。然后我觉得 Gerard Butler 人也超好。我一开始去访问他的时候，他在跟旁边的人在有点小吵架，对，可是不是真的很凶的。他就说为什么他还有问题要问，你就要把他赶走。就是我上一个记者，那个有5分钟，你跟我讲刚刚那个有5分钟，你的老师说刚刚那个有多少分钟，然后后面那个一个女的就说4分钟，他说你跟人家说5分钟，你为什么只回答4分钟？他还有问题要问，我还想要再跟他讲，然后他就走了，因为我很尴尬，我就站在旁边，然后他那时候就看，他说那这一位他有几分钟？他说5分钟，他说你最好超过5分钟，然后。
他其实是希望你们问多一点。
对，他是想要跟大家多说话的人，然后他那时候就有点凶的在对轰，我不能说凶认真，可是你要知道，就是以一个访问者来说，这是多么贴心的一件事情。所以他就说他还有问题要问我，你们不可以把他赶走。对，我想天哪，就把人超好，然后我准备的问题没有那么多，你不需要给我多点时间没有关系。
最后你们有超过5分钟？
我不太确定有没有超过5分钟，反正他就是300壮士，他就是王，然后他现在是 Stoic。他也是王。另外一个我比较不好意思的，其实是 Nick Frost， 那是因为我访问他完了以后，他就结束了，他就休息，然后我们就记者一排就坐在那边。你可以想象，我们记者访问前其实就像看医生一样，就是有几张椅子，然后我们全部都要坐在那边这样，然后在那边看我们的稿，然后跟大家交换意见。就会有一个护士这样开门，这样出来之后，下一位，那你就要走进去。其实是一个压力蛮大的一个环境。就是明星他可能从另外一边这样走过来，然后他看到我以后就很开心，然后就走。所以我觉得 Nick Frost 人也超好的。然后另外一个我直接圈粉的其实是 Julian Dennis， 他是演《死侍2》里面还有哥吉拉大战金刚比较肉男孩，这一次在《驯龙高手》里面也是非常有幽默感的一个角色。我被他圈粉的原因，就是因为我跟他们那群年轻人访问完之后，2个小时之后他们走出来，他们在那边玩，那我就跑过去说：“哦 ，Julian， 我可以给你那个拍张照片吗？”然后就看着我，他就说：“哎，你是 John 对不对？你叫 John。”然后我说：“哦 fuck， 他怎么会知道我的名字？”而且过了两个小时，他就说 ：“Yeah of course。”他觉得很开心，然后我们就一起合照这样子。2个小时之后，一个明星还会记着一个记者的名字。直接圈粉，我觉得私底下明星做的这些小贴心的事情，真的就是超赞，就会让我们这些访问的人感觉到好像哇，我被重视了。差不多就这样，我们行程非常完美。 还是推荐大家有机会的话，还没有看的朋友记得要去看《驯龙高手》真人版。拜拜。啊！我要跑走。